Welcome to the Indie Beacon Show, where readers can discover great new indie authors. Find us on all major podcast systems and YouTube. Join Denise Bryson on today's show.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our show where we encourage everyone to drop everything and read. Reading is so good for you. It stimulates your mind. It causes your vocabulary to expand. And so we are here today to talk to one of our wonderful authors. And she is the author of, and I want to make sure I got it right. She is the author of You Are Not the Only One.
Yes, ma'am.
That has been hurt, violated, abused, and has overcome.
Yes, ma'am.
And then her other book is Father, Give Me the Heart. And so we have the pleasure to interview Alexia Bartholomew. Alexia, how are you today?
Doing peachy. Thank you for the invitation. I definitely appreciate it.
Well, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm originally from California, actually, and I came to Texas by the way of the military. Did Army for 7 years. After the Army, decided to stay in Texas, and been enjoying the state ever since. So other than that, I've been doing school. Currently, I'm going for my master's in elementary education and just enjoying my time here in Texas.
That is amazing.
I need to stop it for a second. I'm not sure when it happened, but Alexa, we lost your right-hand side that I need for the imagery. So I need you to turn your computer so that I get more on your right-hand side.
To the right or left?
To your right. Nope, the other way. A little more. Okay, there we go.
Okay.
Okay, because
All right.
that way I don't put the black screen over your face.
Okay.
Okay.
Do I need to move the book?
No, just, they're good.
Okay.
Okay, with that, Denise, I'm sorry, go ahead and pick it back up.
So I start over?
No, just you can continue on.
Okay. So Alexia, please continue to tell us about yourself.
Also, for fun, I like to travel international, abroad. I'll do a road trip in a heartbeat. I've done road trips to Louisiana, road trips to Pennsylvania, winter and summer. I prefer the summer, especially. Also been to England, which was like one of the greatest places I've been to. Also, while in the military, I went to Kuwait and Iraq, and I love the culture there. So traveling is definitely one of my biggest traits, and also love of diversity. Don't mind learning the cultures from whether of England, Indian, Mexican. Don't mind doing that. So I just love to learn new things.
That's good. And it's always a pleasure to travel and learn the different cultures. So it's always just good to go see this. So let's get into about your book. So tell us about You're Not the Only One that has been hurt, violated, abused. So tell us about that book and has overcome. I want to make sure I say that.
No, you did good, because that's time when I do Instagram video, I have to like relook and make sure I say the right words, because it's sometimes I go, in random order. The second book was really it's really about me. A lot of personal experiences, taken from abuse, sexual abuse, verbal and physical abuse, relationships with the wrong kind of boys and men, and also with parents, and also with bullying. And I would say this was the most vulnerable book, because I was exposing me. And you know how sometimes you don't mind sharing certain parts of your life, short parts of experiences. Well, this book, I did not want to share some things I've been through, because as I was writing the book, I saw the patterns and I saw the mistakes. And even when I was doing about the sexual abuse, I have to relive it and see all the guys that violated me, even when I was touched by a girl, and just have to like open up. It was a fight to pass through it, because it felt depressing. But it's like, I gotta keep going. And so when I did that chapter, and with the chapter with men and boys, I had to really pause, because I did not want to do the book. And plus, there was too many, way too many men and boys. So I'm like, let me find the key ones that had the most impact. So once I did that, I was able to finish the chapter with no problem.
Yeah, it's hard to talk about, those things that have hurt us and those things we went through, but the vulnerability is what can help somebody else. And so that's what makes it really good, a good book and a good read, because it helps somebody else. And so with you sharing that, as difficult as it is, people don't really understand how difficult it is to write about those hurts and things like that. But once you've got it out, then sometimes it even helps you to heal. And then when you hear somebody else say, oh, I identified with that, with what you were saying, then it helps you to know that, okay, it was for a purpose. It just wasn't in vain. It just wasn't me sharing my story, but it was me helping, putting it out there to be a help to somebody else. And so now what do you want your readers to take from the book? I mean, what do you want them to take from it when they read it?
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I want them to realize that they're not the only one who's been through it. Some may never tell a soul what they've been through, whether it's through family or even in church setting or even at work. Sometimes there's a shame or a fear what people say, especially if somebody is a person of influence. And for me, I didn't tell my mom all the people that molested me, even the one with the teenage girl. Actually, that she don't know about it until she reads the book. But when my mom had caught one of the uncles about to do the deed, it was a load off my back, but she didn't know how long it had been taking place. And so for me to even just confess what happened, and even to go through therapy and just talking about just the feeling of just being touched in a wrong way as a child, it was really hard, because I tried my best not to deal with it. I tried to be very numb, and it was even reflected when I was a kid when I was fighting boys. Because I was like, you're gonna tell me, no, I'm gonna go down in a fight. I'm gonna punch you in the face, basically. But it got to a point where I had to say, you know what, I gotta confess this. If not, I'm gonna suffocate. I'm gonna die from this. So it's definitely been a process, but it's been worth it. And I feel more light, very light about what I have written in the book.
And I'm glad, and because it's so many people that are in that place. And so I said something in a book I've written. I said, when silence speaks, what will it say? And so that is, since there's so many people that are silent, have been silent about the abuse and about the things that they went on. But if they could ever get it out, it might be a relief for them, and it might be a purging and a help to them. So that's really, so this is an amazing story, an amazing book, because I believe it will help so many people. And so so we know the journey that you went on to write the book. It happened to you. So you're a firsthand witness at it. And so you're just telling people that, you're not alone in this. There's other people that got similar stories or the same story. And so you don't have to bear the burden alone. And so that is so amazing. I just think that's amazing. Now, how long did it take you to write the book? I mean, how long did it actually take you to get through it?
9 months, actually. Started in July. And I got a word to write the book because I had just finished publishing the first book early last year. And somebody said, you haven't told the whole story. So I think to myself, okay, what can I write about? And I started writing out like I was doing a English term paper. And the main things came up with the abuse, with my parents, with the relationships I was with men and boys, and when I was at school being bullied. And it seemed like it was easier to write some chapters, like I mentioned earlier, but just writing the details, it was like I had to be careful that I wasn't just doing it to get even with somebody, but I was doing it to be honest with myself, say, hey, look, this is how I felt before it happened, this is how I felt when it happened, This is how I felt after it happened. So I had to be very meticulous about how I wrote each word in each paragraph, even the individuals in the chapters, because I wanted to make sure that I wasn't just writing a book just to say, oh, something to occupy time. I wanted people to feel, relate, or even envision the event taking place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that, and there's so many of us that have been bullied or have been done in these times, these things have been done to us, and sometimes we didn't even know it. So anyway, but we're gonna take a break and hear from our wonderful sponsors, and then we're gonna come right back and talk some more about your books and things like that. And we'll be talking to Alexia Bartholomew.
Yes.
Marianne Fairmouth is a career consultant with 30 years experience in the national recruiting world, a multi-award-winning author in multi-genres, and a speaker that gives presentations to help you succeed. Her book, Revolutionary Recruiting, made the top 20 global list of recruiting books. Find her on Amazon, your favorite bookstore, or at fairmouth.com.
Factor 7, the newest thriller by author J.D. May, will keep you turning the pages with mystery, betrayal, lies, and infidelity. Ripped from the headlines, Factor 7 follows two prominent doctors who uncover a clandestine plot to spread a bioweapon with a 98% mortality rate. Journey with them as they experience a world of murder, power, intrigue, and corruption, where it becomes deadly clear that exposing the truth is just as dangerous as the weapon they seek to expose.
Hello, I am the author Denise Bryson. My first book is The Things That Cross My Mind, Inspirational Poetry with Life Lessons. And then my audiobook is Love's Reality. And it is also inspirational poetry with a jazzy flair. And then my new book is The Sex, the Lies, and the Soul Ties. They're really short stories written from a poetic expression. And then I have my first children book series, the Blinky series, which the first book is called Meet the Coins, and it is both in English and Spanish. And then the new book, From Coins to Bills. I am the author, Denise Bryson.
To embrace your children's imagination, check out Diane Floyd Bame's books for kids. There's The Moonling Adventures, all about the animals in the Serengeti. And then there's Harry the Camel, learning to love yourself just the way you are. Then The Little Girl in the Moon. There's one about friendship, another one about the big ideas, which is an inspirational story, and then Tour Tycho Town, right there in Tycho Crater on the moon. All of Diane Floyd Bame's books are available at B4R Store.
Welcome to the Indie Beacon Show, where readers can discover great new indie authors. Find us on all major podcast systems and YouTube. Join Denise Bryson on today's show.
Well, welcome back to our show. We have had the pleasure of interviewing Alexia Bartholomew, and she is the author of You Are Not the Only One That Has Been Hurt, Violated, Abused, and Has Overcome. And then her first book, that's her second book. Her first book is Father, Give Me the Heart. So Alexia, we're so glad to be back, and we was having such an interesting conversation before we took our break. And so I want to talk a little bit about Father, Give Me the Heart, because that seems like an amazing book as well. And for it to have been the first one, so I think that first one, just the title to me says, when God gave you the heart, then he released you to tell the story in the second one. So let's talk about Father, Give Me the Heart.
Yes, ma'am. Father, Give Me the Heart, it actually started about 2015. Because there are times I was saying, Father, give me the heart for a lot of things. Mm-hmm. And so one day I just started, look at scriptures about the heart. I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna do a sermon. That's what I'm thinking. And then I started writing different prayers out. And I'm thinking, okay, it might be a poem. But as time expanded and time went on, I was like, okay, this is about to be a book. And so what I did first was just prayers. And then there's like scriptures, I'm like, no, I don't want to be too long, but it made more sense. And so what I did was find scriptures that's related to the prayer. And as time went on and started adding more content, even why you put the prayer there, it made more sense. Mm-hmm. And I even added more, even some of my personal experiences of certain prayers, even about changing when you don't think you need change. Because I know for me, there are times I'm thinking, no, I don't need change. Well, like, yeah, you need change. And even to the point of humility. And even one prayer particularly put it was to live and not die, because there are times even for myself where I was just on earth, but I still wonder why I'm still here. And that was probably my most powerful and intimate one, because I was saying to myself, hey, this is how I feel. This is how I felt around that time, because I didn't think I had anything. I didn't think I had a reason to live, to be honest with you. But as time went on, that one prayer alone spoke to me a lot, because I had to realize within myself, I want to live and not die. And it helped me. And I'll be honest with you, I still got to do the Father Give Me the Heart, because I still have days where I'm like, I don't like this person. This person need to go. I don't agree with this method. And it's a helper for me. It personally helped me more than it's going to help the reader, because it showed me where I need to grow up, where I need to prove, and where I need more of the God's heart to do things that need to be done.
Yeah, because when I think about the second book, I think about the first book had to come first, because you had to get to a place of forgiveness in order to be able to write about the second book and be okay with it.
Yes.
Because if not, then it could have never came out if you still was holding so much other stuff. So that that seems to be like a good segue or a pattern for moving forward. That's what I'll say.
Yes,
he gave you the first book about getting your heart right about it and forgiveness, and then it segued you into the second book, which will help you to, you might be being vulnerable about it, but how many people will that help? So I think that's just an amazing story. So who is your target audience for the first book? Is it anyone that are you targeting it for a certain group of people?
It's really for anybody that wants to do things from the heart. Because I know for myself, I've done things just to please people, do things just, you know how to say nagging, or somebody just keep getting on you, like maybe just do it just to, forgive me, kind of shut their mouth about it. So it's really for anybody that really want to change. And I'm not just dealing with people that's in the body of Christ, but it's for people that's not saved, whether you're in different religions. If you want to change your heart, hey, I challenge the reader. It will help you in the long run.
It will help you. Now, what does your family say about the books you've written?
Woo! The first book, not a lot of people's happy with it. They was kind of like, don't mention anything, but I'm looking like, I'm like, I know y'all requested it, but I'm like, no, I'm gonna have to write it. And even though they may not like what come out, I gotta speak the truth, what I felt around that time. And I'll even say this, for a while, I didn't talk to my mom for over a year. And one thing I mentioned was forgiveness. And so one that was learning to forgive my mom. She don't know about the second book yet, but I know in due time she's gonna read it. But I wanted to tell the readers that even though I may not like things she's done as my mom, she's still my mother. She still did the best that she could. I still love her. I still forgive her. It's just, I just gotta share. It was never to like bash, belittle nobody, but I just wanted to tell my story.
It's so amazing, because I'm listening to you talk about your books, and I'm thinking about even the one that I came out with. It has so many of these very stories in it as well, and it is so hard to talk about those things, but there's so many people that are bound up with these same scenarios and these same things, and even the parent. And sometimes people feel like, well, you didn't take up for me, you weren't there for me, and so then that becomes the issue. And for you to even get to a place, so that's why the Lord said He gave you that first book, because you have to have a heart of forgiveness, even to forgive your parents, who are supposed to be your covering at that age, and maybe they just missed what was happening, or they wasn't present, but you were still able and you're still able to move forward and still be able to say, well, no, that's my mother, that's my father, that's my, and so that's always amazing. And I think that will help a lot of people that have went through this particular transition or these particular things in whatever form that they went through it, that it will help them to be able to say, oh, yeah, they may not have been there, but it's gonna be, I'm telling you, that's gonna be phenomenal. I'm just saying, I believe it is.
Thank you, man.
I just believe it is. And so it's always what are some of the things you went through in creating the book? Can you share that with our audience?
The first book, it wasn't really a lot of it, actually. The only issue I had with the first book was just getting it funded, because I had offers to publish the book, but I didn't have the money. And so one lady had told me that I could put my book for free through Amazon. So I said, okay, it's a start. May not be able to take that route, but I need this book published.
Yes.
The second book was more, it took a lot, because there are days where I didn't want to write, I didn't want to touch the subjects, but there's something like, I gotta write the book, I gotta write the book, I gotta write the book. And even to a point where I was on Instagram, giving a heads up about what's going on, I'm like, pray for me, because there are days where I just did not want to do, I didn't feel like doing anything. There was no motivation, no nothing, especially when you're wondering like what's going to happen when you tell your story, and then there are names in that second book. But it's like, I say, I can't worry about it. I got to do the book. I got to get it done. And so when I finished the book, I put a disclaimer in saying that if you have any questions, reach out to me, because some, and I should say majority of them, are blocked. So they don't know I put the names in the book. So they actually helped me create this second book. But it took a lot out of me. It took a faith walk. It was a faith fight. Mm-hmm. It was warfare just to even write the chapters, because I knew it was going to change somebody's life. Mm-hmm. And not just somebody, but a lot of people's lives. And so when the thoughts would come in saying, give up, you were told write the book, I'm like, I got to press through it. I got to do the book. Somebody needs to somebody needs to read it. Somebody needs to hear my story. Mm-hmm. And so when I typed it, the finished manuscript, I'm like, okay, that part's out the way. But when I got the email that it's available for purchase, I felt a load off my back. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't like, thank God, it was more like of a birthing, like a birth, it's like a birth a baby, basically. Yeah. I birthed something new that I never thought would take place. And so somebody asked me what's my favorite book. I'll say the second one, because it took a faith walk, a faith fight, a war. I just really had to press through and just walk by faith that what I'm been told to write is going to benefit in the long run.
Yes. Well, we're going to take another break and we'll be right back. And so we thank you for we've had a good time. So anyway, we'll be right back. Let's hear from our wonderful sponsors. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Rox Berkey. I write the Enigma series with my co-author. We write as Brakefield and Berkey. Today we have 12 books in this series, with The Enigma Threat being the newest release on January the 8th of 2021. It's an exciting book that goes to the next generation, and we hope that you'll check it out and all the other books in the Enigma series. Thank you.
Publishing marketing package for authors. $1,500 value, save 40% now. Includes a 6-piece marketing kit of 250 bookmarks, 250 business cards, 250 postcards, 1 table banner, 1 table runner, and 50 download cards, plus book cover design, ebook creation, PDF setups, upload to Ingram Spark, scroll placement, video commercial, and interview on IBS, plus much more. Email bourgeoismedia@look.com for details, or bourgeoismedia.com.
Hi, I'm Mel Greenberg, author of Running with Our Eyes Closed, book 1 in the Empty Nested series. To the world, Samantha has the perfect life. 3 wonderful children, a loving husband, so she thought, and a life split between Dallas and Italy. When her youngest leaves for college, it all comes crashing down, forcing Samantha to re-examine everything. Over 7 days in one of the most romantic countries in the world, Samantha faces the past she thought she'd overcome and begins to redefine her role as a woman, a wife, and a mother.
What would you do if you had to put your life on hold to care for a loved one? Well, during COVID, almost all of us have been doing just that. I'm Charlotte Canyon, award-winning author, actress, and speaker. And my book, You Have to Laugh to Keep from Crying, shows you how you can revive, thrive, and survive with 4 golden rules. You have to love one another. You have to respect one another. You have to have patience with one another. And most of all, you've got to forgive one another. I'm Charlotte Canyon, and I approve this message.
Welcome to the Indie Beacon Show, where readers can discover great new indie authors. Find us on all major podcast systems and YouTube. Join Denise Bryson on today's show.
Well, welcome back to our show. We have had the pleasure of interviewing Alexia Bartholomew, and she is the author of You're Not the Only One That Has Been Hurt, Violated, Abused, and Has Overcome. And then her first book, her freshman book, I'll say, is Father, Give Me the Heart. And so it's been an amazing journey. So tell us what you have coming up next. Tell us what's going on.
Well, actually, next month I'll be doing another radio interview in Killeen, Texas. The radio station is KGRN 90.5 FM. I'll be also doing a follow-up about my second book. In June, in San Antonio, I'm doing a book signing. And the last Saturday of June at the Twig Bookshop in San Antonio at the Pearl would be from 11 to 1 p.m. And then another book signing in July with Words Unite Bookstore, the owners, Ashley and Kiana, great people, great women of God. I'll do a book signing with them on the 28th of July from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Fort Hood.
Oh, that is amazing. So that's good. So tell us where we can buy your books. Tell us where we can buy your books.
Well, you can buy them online, Amazon, definitely, Barnes & Noble, the Twig Bookshop. They also have books, a couple of my books available, bookshop.org. And also they have one of my books available through B4R Books. And Words Unite Bookstore, they have one of my books of the Father Giving a Heart book available, but also planning getting the second book available for purchase.
That is amazing. And tell us how we can reach you on social media.
Instagram, Lex3380. I'll primarily do my announcements through Instagram. You can also reach me on Facebook. Type in my first and last name. Or you can reach me on email at alexia.bartholomew@gmail.com.
It has been amazing talking to you, Alexia. This has been such a joy. And I really believe that your book could go far because it has so much good, it has so much in it to help people. So I hope that all those that need it will find it. That's what I hope. So please support our authors. They are amazing people and they have so much that they can contribute to you. I'm telling you, reading is what we need to do. We get so much out of it. If we do that, everything expands when we read. That's what I always say.
I agree.
So it has been our pleasure to chat with you today about your written masterpieces. Thank you for your time. And we really, I really do. I keep saying this. Please go and support our authors, and so that you can buy their books and read them and call them up for speaking engagements. How about that? Let's do that. So we're so thankful. And I have been your host. I am Denise Bryson, and I'm so glad I got the opportunity to talk to you today. Thank you.
Thank you for watching or listening to the Indie Beacon Show, produced by Beyond Bourgeois for the Authors Marketing International LLC. Copyright 2021. Voiceover by Beyond Bourgeois. If you would like to be a sponsor of the show, please email us at authorsmarketing@outlook.com. If you would like to be on the show, please complete the form found on our website at indiebeacon.com. You may also watch previous year's shows on the website. Music is Frolic of Words, created for Indie Beacon